Welcome, everyone. I am Johnny Karenko, the Manager of Public and Professional Education at the COPD Foundation. Also joining us is Stephanie Williams, the Vice President of Education and Engagement, and Amanda Atkinson, the Manager of Public and Professional Education. We are going to explore different ways that we offer education here at the COPD Foundation, and it is our goal that by the end of this video, you should be able to have a clear understanding of how to use each and every single one of these tools. Let's get started. So we're going to start off with our reading material. Amanda, I'll let you take over this one.
Great. Thanks so much, Johnny. And thanks everybody for joining us and being here with us today. So we're going to start off with the reading material that we offer, and that can include booklets, one-page flyers, as well as the information that's contained on our website. The resources that we have are available on demand on the website. So you can go to the website, click on something, it'll open up in your browser. You'll be able to look at it, read it there. You can also download it, and then they're also designed really to be easy to understand. So if you don't have a lot of background with information already, you'll be able to jump right in and understand. And if you already do have some background information, it'll just add to what you already have. So we'll talk a little bit first about the booklets. They are multiple page resources that are going to cover a broad range of topics that we have to help people learn more about living and thriving with COPD. They're going to cover everything from the basics of lung condition. So we have a 101 booklet, sort of just the basics, to specific topics like exercise and exacerbations or flare-ups. We have books individualized to those topics as well. Some examples might be our guides for better living, and those are small guides, easy to read, easy to digest, that give you information on various topics. And then we have the COPD 101 and 201 booklets that are a little bit more of a, let's say, in-depth look at COPD. And we have oxygen therapy basics, and then one also all about bronchiectasis. Several resources. This is so exciting. We have available in multiple languages. So we have English, Spanish, Italian, French, Chinese, Arabic, Farsi, and Russian translations for many of our books.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Yeah, these booklets are great because they dive, really in depth with a lot of those topics, which is great. We also have our flyers. So we have 1 or 2 page flyers, which offers more like focused, concise information on specific topics that are related to COPD. So they're really powerful tools for delivering information really quickly. Because they're short, but they still have that like complex information, still very, written to be easy to understand. We're hoping to be able to improve retention. We try to make them visually appealing for that reason. And some examples of some of the ones that you guys may have seen would be the impact of smoking flyer, the protecting against shingles, which I have pictured here, and the My COPD action plan. That's one that we talk about a lot because we use it so often throughout the years to help, to help us be able to better manage our COPD. All of these booklets and flyers can be found in our downloads library on the COPD Foundation website. And another tool that not everyone thinks of as being educational, but it links back to educational content, would be our newsletter. So you guys can still stay really informed and empowered by subscribing to the COPD Foundation's newsletter. By subscribing, you receive the latest updates from your education team who's on the call today. We make sure that you guys have practical tips for managing your COPD. Sometimes we have patient stories, which can give you that more personal touch. And we also have expert insights. So, for example, some experts might have a post or story out, and it's delivered right to your inbox, so you don't have to go searching for this education. So this can help try to empower you to take control of your lung health and also stay connected in the community.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny, so much. The newsletters are great. I always enjoy getting them in my inbox. We also would like to talk to you a little bit just about our website in general and how you can access educational material from the website. And so on the top of the website, you'll see on the picture that Johnny has there, there's a little tab that says Learn More, and you can click on that, and it just opens up a menu for lots of different choices. We have educational pages that are specific to maybe different topics that you would want to learn about with your COPD. So there's one about nutrition. There's one about just what is COPD. We have one that talks about breathing exercises. And so those individual educational pages really provide reliable and up-to-date information that are going to be specifically tailored. You can look to find information for what you need. Those are reviewed by our medical experts. And so we want to be your number one source of information related to COPD. And so we really try to make sure that we can get everything that's really relevant on those pages for you. So whether you're a patient or a caregiver, there's really in-depth insights on management, treatment options, lifestyle tips in the Learn More section of the web page. And we also have a section for healthcare providers. We have blogs that are related to for healthcare providers and other information that you can utilize if you are a healthcare provider as well. And so that leads me to my next topic here is the COPD Digest blog. We have a blog that gets put out that would be more, let's say, patient or caregiver facing. That's just topics that are interesting that you might, something new on the horizon. If something comes out, new, we're going to put information there. But one of my favorite parts of the website is COPD 360 social. And that actually is where we can connect. Our community connects. We put educational material on there, but also you're getting education from people that are live with COPD just like you. So the educators, we will produce educational content multiple times each month that goes on our COPD 360 social and on the blog with just relevant topics within the community. And they're accessible to the community for easy access and interaction with other community members. We have little places where you can do a Q&A and talk to each other back and forth, make comments. I like to think of it as our version of like a little Facebook, sort of.
Absolutely. And one thing I like is, we'll try to take a look at what we see in 360 social to try to determine what education we're going to put out that month
Yep.
in our check-ins or in our blog. So if we see that people are asking a lot of questions about, exacerbations, then we might write a check-in about exacerbations because we want to make sure that we are tailoring our content to what our community needs. So if there is ever a topic that you guys want to see, just let us know because we are so excited to, to try to inform you guys about the latest and greatest of what's going on and how we can help you guys the most.
And Johnny, one other thing that I love about the 360 social community is we really are a family there. Every Friday we have what's called Fluffy Friday, and so people post pictures of their pets. We do that on Fridays. There's, I think it's Motivational Monday, and people will post their favorite quotes. We have one lady that is consistently posting the best recipes, so it's amazing. So it really helps us to, just connect as a community and as people. And so it's really fun.
Absolutely. I've gotten quite a few good recipes from her. Okay, so the next topic we're going to discuss is our multimedia content. So multimedia educational content I can't speak today, sorry, combines a couple different elements. So our visuals, our audio and interactive elements to help create a more dynamic learning experience because we know that when we're combining those different interactive elements, adult learning, if we're making it more interactive, you're more likely to remember it and have more retention of that. So by engaging those multiple senses, it enhances understanding of the material and retention of that material as well. And also it's just more enjoyable and, to learn this material if you're listening to it and it's a more fun way to learn. So that's where we're putting, I don't want to say more effort, but that's where we're really excited to kind of build some of this educational content because it's more fun and it's more effective. So whether you're a visual learner or you're more of a hands-on interactive learner like I am, I like to get my hands on things and play with it. Different multimedia content offers like this flexible, immersive way to grasp new concepts. And the reason we had a picture of someone on the computer is because we have e-learning courses. So e-learning courses are interactive lessons that center around topics that are relevant to people with COPD. So they offer that interactive, engaging content that caters to people with different learning styles. And also it takes really complex topics and tries to tailor it down to make it more easy to understand by having videos or different like mix and matched ways that you can try to play with it, that this content. So these e-learning courses are convenient in that you can learn anywhere, anytime with this digital capability. So you can take them on a computer, you can take them on a phone or a tablet, and they're at your own pace. So if you start it on a Tuesday, you don't have to finish it in for 3 months if you don't. I mean, I would prefer you finish it earlier because you'll remember it better. But it's at your own pace. So if you want to take a little bit longer to go through the content, that's completely fine. It's not like a video where once you start it, it continues at the pace that the video was recorded. Currently, we have two e-learning courses that are developed and published and ready to use. They are all about RSV and protecting against shingles, but we do have a nebulizer course that is almost finished and will be ready in September for everybody to play with and learn with. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, I love personally, I love the e-learning courses, Johnny, and um I really enjoy the patient ones. We also have some for HCPs. So if there's anyone listening that's a healthcare provider, we have specific courses for healthcare providers and more coming out, to come soon. And we do actually have one of them on genetic COPD in Spanish. So that was really exciting to get the e-learning course translated. And what I especially love about it too is I don't know the statistics, but I read an article at one point that said if you just read something, you retain a certain amount, but if you read it and you hear it, you retain more. And then and so with that e-learning, you're getting surrounded and immersed by the information where, because there's voiceovers, there's videos inside it, there's things you can read. And so you're really absorbing the information on a lot more levels. And so I think for me personally, it sticks a little bit better.
Absolutely. Yeah, the
Yeah.
more you interact with something, the more you're able to recall that information later on. So,
Yeah.
and I do, yes, thank you, Amanda, for reminding me. I do want to preface that the e-learning courses that I mentioned are the ones that we have for patients and caregivers. We do have more that are for healthcare professionals, absolutely. That
Yeah.
anyone can take, it's just,
And they're short, like 10
yeah.
minutes maybe, to complete. So it's not a long time that you have to sit. And so speaking of alternative ways of getting information, we have a new podcast channel, and I'm so very excited about this channel. We really wanted to be able to deliver information in a way that you could get it on the go. If you're out on your walk, we know movement is super important when you have any kind of chronic illness, or even when you don't have a chronic illness. We need to get out there and move our bodies. And so podcasts, you can put your earphones in and take your walk the dog, and listen to it, do it while you're on the treadmill. And they offer just really flexible and convenient ways to learn on the go. So what we're doing is we're finding topics that are relevant to the community. We've asked, so we have some support groups, which I think we may talk about later on. And we've asked people in our support groups, we've reached out and said, like, what topics are important to you? And so we've brought in experts, some we have some patient facing podcasts, really, and we have some podcasts that are also patients could listen to but are geared toward healthcare providers. And so we have experts in the field coming in medically, and we have patients coming and telling their story, giving their experience, really diverse perspectives and in-depth discussions that are really, just coming directly into your ears, no matter where you are, and making it easy to stay informed and inspired about living well with COPD. So you can be home or out and about, and it's definitely a flexible way to deepen your understanding and empower you. So go to our YouTube channel. They're on our YouTube channel also, and you can subscribe to them there. But also you can find the podcast on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Music, and they're on our webpage also. But when you get there, make sure you subscribe to it, because when you click subscribe, you'll get notifications when we put out new podcasts. And I think we have 4 now, and there's maybe 6 or 7 in the next just little bit that we have in the works to get out to you also. So
Absolutely. Those podcasts are great. I love listening to them. And like you said, I mean, I typically listen to them while I'm doing the dishes because it's something I have to do. So I might as well make it enjoyable.
may as well learn while you're doing the chore, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we have also just some videos that are, I love these videos. We found that a lot of people actually are not fully using their inhalers and their nebulizers correctly. And so these videos were developed by the foundation's educators to demonstrate how to actually properly use the different inhaler devices that are approved for treating COPD. So you can find the type that you have, click on the video. It's going to give you instructions for your particular type of inhaler or type of device. And there's even some troubleshooting tips. I think one of them talks about cleaning your equipment properly. And so we've created videos, again, how to clean, how to store the most common types. And they're actually on our website. Also, under that same Learn More tab, there's a section that says educational videos, and they're right there. And then we also have a playlist on our YouTube channel and our PCG app. Johnny, do you want to go, or do we want to go into the PCG app now a little and just explain it, or?
We can absolutely. So,
Okay.
as I say, I don't have a slide specifically for the PCG app, but it's a great resource that has links to a couple different things that we've talked about so far. So it has a link to a more interactive, we've talked about interactive learning, right? And why that's so important, but a more interactive My COPD action plan. And it also has links to a couple other resources. So like Amanda mentioned, these nebulizer and inhaler videos, and it has a link to the COPD Digest and 360 Social. So those other written resources that we talked about. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's some places in there also too to where you can go in and put notes of things you want to talk about with your doctor in the next visit. And we have another view. You can click a button if you're a healthcare provider. It flips you over to the healthcare provider view, and we talk about vaccinations, and there's some vaccination information on the patient side also. So go to your Apple Store, your Google Play Store, and you can download that for free.
Absolutely. One of my favorite parts of that is that like interactive medication and wallet card that you can keep it
Yes.
all documented in there, because that's one thing that can be hard to keep track of. But the more medications you're on, the more vaccinations you get. It can kind of be hard to keep track of when I got my last COVID shot or when I got my pneumococcal vaccination. Absolutely. So Amanda talked about our nebulizer and inhaler videos, which are absolutely wonderful resources, but we have other YouTube videos as well. COPD Foundation actually has its own YouTube channel. And so we try to make sure that these videos are visually engaging, and being on YouTube, they're easily accessible. Sometimes we'll even post them on our Facebook, depending on if it relates to something that we're doing through the foundation at that time. And they all relate to something regarding COPD. So we have a couple of different what are called playlists, which I always think of them as like buckets. So essentially like an overview of topics. So the topics might be harmonicas for health. So that might be videos of people playing the harmonica or how to play the harmonica, which can be really helpful if you're starting off in a Harmonicas for Health program. Another one would be the easy at-home exercise for COPD. So if you know that you need to start doing some exercise videos because we know that exercise is really important in in our conditioning and keeping ourselves healthy. Those are some good resources for you. And then we have other tutorials on how to use different COPD Foundation platforms like 360 Social and our PCG app that Amanda was just talking about. And then one of my favorites is actually this Medical Minute. So they're very short episodes, again, engaging, and they just cover a brief topic, again, related, health topic related to COPD. So you can learn in a very quick period of time some health information related to COPD. Ooh,
So good, Johnny.
and I
And
went
not
I went the wrong direction.
it's so good. And not everybody knows necessarily, but we actually have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel also for bronchiectasis and NTM 360 initiative as well. And so you can get information about COPD, alpha 1, bronchiectasis, NTM. Like there's a lot of diverse information on there, different videos about various lung conditions. Yeah.
Absolutely. And since you brought up Bronch and NTM, they actually have their own podcast as well. So if you're someone who has both COPD and bronchiectasis or whatever the case may be, they have a great podcast as well. And again, while you're walking or while you're doing the dishes, excellent resource. So it's also important that I touch on some of the social support because we can get a lot of education from each other, just as we could that might be, one of those more structured educations. So the first one that I'd like to touch on is a passion project of mine. And that's the Harmonicas for Health program. So it was created by a couple of respiratory therapists, one of which is Stephanie Williams on this call. And it teaches people with COPD to mimic pursed lip breathing. So pursed lip breathing is something that we talk about a lot with COPD and with lungs in general. And pursed lip breathing can help make breathing easier and help lessen that stress of not breathing well. So playing the harmonica can help with breathing control and other COPD symptoms. It can help strengthen your abdominal muscles and other like breathing muscles that can help pull air in and push air out of the lungs. So harmonica playing is absolutely wonderful for people living with COPD and other lung conditions. We do offer a play along event every month. And people who come to the 360 social support group, which Amanda is going to talk about next, sometimes get to play as well. So
sometimes because we like to talk and really be a place of connection in our social group. So we like to get to harmonicas, but if you want to play for sure and you want to have some dedicated time, definitely jump over to Johnny's harmonicas group.
my meetup,
So
right?
yes, come to the group. It's so fun. It's really fun. And we actually have been doing some outreach at baseball games to create some awareness for COPD. And there's the original harmonica players in Tennessee did a video and actually got to be featured as playing the national anthem on the harmonica at a couple baseball games. We're getting ready to do another one pretty soon. And then I think Take Me Out to the Ball game also, right, Johnny? They got
They did take me out to the ball games at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Yep.
Yes. So very exciting. But COPD 360 Social, we talked about it a little bit earlier, is an online network that's just designed for people living with COPD and their caregivers, and also anybody providing, healthcare providers that are working with COPD families also. And there's several different sections. We have a question and answer section. We talked about it a little bit earlier that would allow any members on the group to be able to ask questions to the community and get peer feedback. And so the way you would get to that, just right from our homepage, it's all the way to the left. It says COPD 360 social, and you can click on that and it's a little drop down box and There's an activity feed. You can just kind of peruse it, see what everybody's chatting about. But there's actually a specific question and answer section as well. And the activity feed displays questions, updates, articles. That's where everybody puts their dogs and fluffy picture, animal posts. And we have some of our recipes and just fun things that are posted there. And then articles that are in the digest might be on that activity feed. And then we also, a lot of times, they'll pin to the top of it um, uh, events that are hosted by the foundation. So you'll see the schedule of the support groups that we were talking about will be pinned up there. Or maybe we're we want to do a survey to find out how we can best serve you educationally or with research or things like that. Those things will be in that area. And then we have medical professionals, including nurses, respiratory therapists, and physicians, moderate the feed. So we also do, in addition to peer support, you also have the support of the medical professionals at the foundation that are monitoring as well. And so we have some actual support groups. Bronchiectasis and NTM have a support group that meets once a month. Very, very nicely curated group. They've got, specific topics every month that they'll talk about and have a Q&A time. We have an Oxygen 360 support group for all things oxygen. So Mike Hess, we used to call him the COPD dude. Now we're going to call him the oxygen dude. He moderates that particular group. I see that some of the people that are here already attend these support groups. So we're so thankful that, we get to connect with you every month. And then the COPD 360 social support group meets once monthly to discuss just different concerns in the community and just really be there for each other. A lot of our 360 conversations is just connecting with each other and, hey, how are you doing? And, what's working for you? And, somebody had questions about traveling with oxygen. And so our folks that, had traveled a lot with oxygen jumped in and gave tips and stuff. So just really being able to connect with other people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amanda. And so to recap, we've covered different ways that we offer education to our audience here at the COPD Foundation. These can include our written materials like booklets and some of our newer options like an online course and podcasts. After you leave today, I encourage all of you to try a new resource that you haven't used before. Thank you so much for joining, and please reach out with any other questions that you guys might have.